Here is a fascinating fact. While many locals buyers in Bangalore complain that prices are too high and global investors are quietly putting thousands of a crore in the same city. So the obvious question is, what do global investors see in Bangalore that local buyers often miss out? Because if we understand this, you and I can invest not with emotion but with the same logic that billion-dollar companies are investing into Bangalore. In just last few years, giants like Blackstone, Brookfield and GIC of Singapore have invested billions into Bangalore office spaces, warehouse and even on residential projects. At the same time, the average Bangalorean is stuck comparing whether Whitefield is better than Sajapura or whether 1.2 crore is too much for a 2 BHK. On the other hand, global investors look at Bangalore from a completely different lens. They don't care about temporary traffic jams or short-term rental hikes. They care about long-term and structural trends, what happening into the market. So let's break it down. What these global giants are able to see into the Bangalore real estate, what you and me can be missing. The first thing global investors see is a talent. Bangalore is just not India's tech hub. It's one of the world's biggest pool of engineers, software developers and startup founders. For every Google, Amazon or Microsoft that hires here, there are 100 smaller firms that follow. For an investor, this means a constant inflow of young, earning population that need housing. Second opportunity they see is the infrastructure projects and investment which will be catalyst into the market. Look at STRR, Satellite Town Ring Road, Bangalore Business Corridor, the metro expansion, the new airport terminal. For a global investor, these are the signals that land value will compound. Local buyers often complain metro work is blocking the roads, but global funds see the competition, not the inconvenience. Third opportunity global companies are able to see is a diversification. Initially, foreign funds only bought office spaces, but today they are buying into warehouse, data center, even residential projects. And do you understand why? Because they see Bangalore not as a city, but as a full ecosystem. That's why they don't panic. If one sector slows down, the other three will still perform. The fourth opportunity, what these global giants are able to see is the demographic shift of the Bangalore. Bangalore is a young city. The average age is around 28 to 30 years compared to the developed countries where the average age is above 40 years. Young people rent today, but they aspire to buy tomorrow. For a global investor, that's guaranteed demand for next 20 to 30 years. Locals see high prices. Global investors see a decade-long demand wave which is coming into the market. So why do most local investors miss out the opportunity? It's not because they lack money. It's because they lack vision and perspective. We have discussed about the opportunity. Let's talk about the challenges. First challenge, what I see with a local investor is the short-term investment goals. Local investors start asking and thinking about the investment returns within 2 years or 3 years, where compared to the global giants, they look forward their investment goals, which is 2030 or 2040. So basically, a long-term patience what needed is missing out in local investor. Second challenge, which is very obedient, is buying a property emotionally near office, near parents, near schools. Nothing wrong with that, but it blinds you with the real growth pockets. Global investor buy with data, not with emotion. The third challenge, local investor fear the risk. They worry, what if builder delay the project? What if traffic increase in the location? Global investors diversify across multiple projects and markets. So they reduce the risk instead of avoiding it. That's why they don't miss big opportunities. To understand this approach better, we need to ask a question. Why Foxconn has opened office space in Devanahalli? Why companies are coming toward the KIDB location? Why WTC is coming into a Devanahalli location? And that's where they see the long-term vision for themselves, where local investors do miss out. So what can you learn out of this as a local investor? First, think long term. Don't just look at 2025. Look out the location where you have metro connectivity, airport connectivity, or upcoming location like STRR or Bangalore Business Corridor that will show the growth by 2030 or 2032. Second, you need to focus on demand drivers. If jobs are growing, people are migrating, demand will follow. Third, don't buy emotionally. Ask yourself, if I have to rent out or resell this property, will I get 15 customers? If yes, that's the right property. So the difference is very simple. Local investor or a buyer see the traffics of today, but global investors see the infrastructure of tomorrow, what local is not able to visualize. A local investor is just focusing on the pricing, where these global giants are focusing on the value. Now my question to you, when you look at the Bangalore, do you see the city will give you a high price capital appreciation for the next 10 decades? Tell me in the comments, and if you found this useful, like and subscribe, because here I break down the real estate the way billion-dollar investors think, not the way the marketing brochure is shown to you.